Hi, this is Martin. It's October 14th, 2019. And this is Jean-Marie, which I want to say in French because I'm French. And I was introduced to him, but this is the first time I meet him in person, by David, who's a professor of Canadian origins at Gulu University, who gave me your information. And what I was told is Jean-Marie works on potentially what would be trauma-related programs. And my own research into northern Uganda also finds this as being a priority, that is at the root of things for long-term thinking. So hopefully this would be something that we would have in common to collaborate on. So do you guys want to introduce yourselves too?
Okay, thank you. My name is Dr. June Marie. I'm a clinical psychologist doing research here in northern Uganda.
Did you say oncologist?
Psychologist.
Psychologist.
Yes. Here in Uganda, but we are working in East Africa countries, which is Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Burundi,
because that falls under the
Rwanda, and South Sudan.
Oh, that's even more than the East African visa.
Yes. So we are happy to meet you.
Yeah, thank you.
And from this we know now what we are going to discuss.
Yeah.
My friend.
Okay, my name is Simon Kipruitangut.
Hi, Simon. I can say Simon for your
Simon
name?
Kipruitangut
Okay.
from Kenya.
Okay, hi.
I'm a community psychologist.
Okay.
So we came here because of the problem that is facing the northern part of Uganda.
Yeah.
As to seek for a solution of the problem from the ground. So we came up with the idea, which we are seeing it is the best idea. We thought that it's the best idea to solve the problem in the northern part of Uganda. So,
do you guys see the problem the same way I do, which is that maybe a lot of the violence and fighting has come to an end, but now that there is trauma, and there is trauma that takes specific skill sets to heal, right? Professionals with the right skill sets.
Yes.
And programs, and that it will take time.
It will take time because the service providers, they don't care about trauma issues.
Yeah, like for example, I was talking to the leader of Mary Stopes,
Yes.
who is in Kampala, and because the manager of the local office is my neighbor as well, and I met. It's okay. I don't need to be there. But anyways, and I think he kind of notices this too, but it doesn't fall under his mandate, right? And he says other organizations take care of it, and I said no, the mental health part, I don't think there is anybody qualified that is taking care of this. And if it's not taken care of, then the same cycles might be repeated, or just there'll be other versions of human rights violations, or violent abuses, or sexual abuses, or different things that'll be continuing in the next generations. And it might even be among the same communities and not coming from violators from other communities. So for me, I've seen this happen in the First Nations community of Canada. And again, there's almost none programs for trauma. There are some, there's places I work, but they're not specifically offering the right kind of thinking tools in the healing process to end the continuing in the next generations. And that is something that for me, I'd want to work on somebody with the same mindset to end it, but not just end it, but teach a way of thinking as a human should, that it's not even a possibility for the future, and that is role model to actually spread and heal other communities that might have also gone in that way in their future history. And for me, it's human thinking tools that are related to sentience and sapience, what we are capable of with this hardware, right? We just don't have the software for it. And that's what I specialize in, human software. And as much as I want to offer these skills for free, in your country here, Uganda, where the volunteer visa is the same price as the employee visa, it's pretty hard. I can't afford it. And it's strange because there is a need for my skills, and people kind of know, and they don't realize that this barrier is an example of how they're not going to heal, because the monetary paradigm doesn't make people better up here, it makes them sicker up here. So, but still there's problem-solving tools and collaborative tools where we could actually bypass this if, for example, we studied the existing immigration legislation here. We could find there is ways that Martin, without being a millionaire, who doesn't have any more money than we do, could actually offer his skills for free without violating the country's laws. And I have to do everybody's problem-solving thinking. But still, I can see so far that even if I do it, they're not supporting me enough to actually, be making steps forward. So it's the thinking tools that are missing to help themselves, right? And this I've seen in pretty much every country of the world in my travels, whether a country is considered to be developed or not. As a social scientist, I evaluate a community by their social skills, their social collaborative abilities. And unfortunately, Japan, Canada, South Korea, China, France, Norway, all these communities are exactly the same as here. They are underdeveloped countries because I evaluate them as social creatures. They are born as social creatures, not engineers, not bankers. As social creatures, they are not where they should be after so many thousands of years. And the reason to explain this is, again, we don't even have a 1.0 version of a human software in our brains. And that includes pretty much every country in the world. I'm pretty sure that even if I haven't been everywhere, that I'd be surprised if there was a place with such a community.
Wow.
So I'm traveling the world with a t-shirt that says, "Looking for an Homo sapien will come to you pending approval." And I found a monkey in South Korea that was more sentient and sapient than most human beings I've met for many years, including in my own country of Canada. And I have videos to demonstrate this. And so it's pretty sad. So for me, it's like, what are your ideas, you guys? Because I have such passion to do this before I retire that I'm useless after that when I'm too old. I need to actually collaborate with somebody to record, videotape a Humanist program where I could leave it as a legacy to the world. And this could be a template to teach human software anywhere in the future, especially after probably political and economic crashes and climate change related events that are coming up that will make many societies go many steps backwards. They'll need to rebuild with human software, and they can't learn this anywhere right now, not in any schools or universities of the world that I've seen.
Good. I'm happy first to meet you, and I have been looking for so long somebody who may have the same mind as we do. We are talking about software. Our organization is begging all the entire East Africa countries to integrate the mental health software in their activities, institution, private institution, government institution.
Not just schools, not just hospitals.
No.
Everywhere.
Because
so that means you are also possibly understanding that most problems in the world related to anything start up here.
Now, we'll give you the document. You will see how we have many people who are working in mental health. They are doing hardware. The hardware means like there are some organization will come, they found the traumatized people. They said, okay, what do you need? Shelter, water, food, whatever.
But that's basic physical needs.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But remember, before you give, there is what we call psychosocial first aid. What is psychosocial first aid? It's the software. You cannot give a mad person a new clothes, food in a nice plate, and you will see what will happen.
And walk away.
Exactly. You have done the hardware the best way. You are giving the best need, but the software is the very important thing people are ignoring.
And it's teaching about the brain.
Exactly.
About health of the brain.
And then that's when the software deal with the cause of the trauma, with the cause of the with the cause of traumatized people.
It's a repeating cycle.
Exactly.
I mean, one leads to the other.
Exactly.
For sure.
The moment the other organizations are just giving physical things, they are not healing the problem.
Okay, now you guys have probably had conversations with important people or people that make decisions politically or with large sums of money, and you probably notice that they get it. It's not hard to understand this logic, right? It's
hard.
like saying teaching a man to fish is better than just giving him a fish, right?
No.
Now, when you've encountered people that can make a difference and yet they don't, you realize they also suffer,
Of course,
right?
of course.
And because for me, according to my analysis of the last 4 years of research, is 99.6% of the Earth's population of people primates that we're close,
Yes.
Homo community, I call it, the common man and woman of the day that are not sapient. They just call themselves that so they don't have to do the work.
They are using a lot of money helping software, hardware things.
Well, this is a blog that I'm going to film now.
No.
Today, let me finish this and then
Yes.
I'll get back to where you were.
Yes.
One blog I want to film is, let's say I go back to Canada and I buy a lottery ticket and I win $10 million, let's say. Now, I've met people here I care about, kids. You could see pictures of kids that I've interacted with here that need me, and organizations that wish there was no money barrier. Now, what am I going to do with this money? Is nothing. I can't do anything here because I'm one person and there's nobody else like me. And all I would do is give money in this money laundering
They eat
pyramid
and then they
scheme.
finish. Tomorrow
Either
they-
UN is wasting the resources. Many people that get funding is, again, it's lost before it reaches. And even if it reaches, it's not the right things for long-term solutions. So I would say in this blog, well, I don't know what to do. There would be no way for me to constructively use this money with anybody I've met here. And they wouldn't have the patience or the attention span to have me train them how to use this money properly. So what's the use even buying a lottery ticket?
That's why we came up with this idea. Now there is what is called the problem need assessment. Before you do any project, to any community, you must first identify what do they want, what is their problem, let them talk. So our software, how we apply it here is that when we want to what's called sustainability of each and every project that the community has come up with, let them own the project themselves. They feel it is theirs. So, for example, you want these NGOs, they can come and say that you want to build for your school, we want to build for your hospital. These people may be in the villages.
But what's the use if there's no good educators and no good doctors?
Exactly.
For them, they used to go and look for these herbal trees in the bush. So for us, we don't need hospital. Our fathers have never gone to school. But now, if you come and make them to be involved in the program that you want to do.
Well, that's what I said a lot to people here. I said, if I write a proposal for funding for you, we have to write that your beneficiaries learn how to install solar panels, teach the community what they've learned. This empowers them. This gets them involved. This is the majority that is now part of the solution. You can't micromanage people without making them part of the solution.
To cut the story short, you are welcome.
You just said that, and then you said he's wearing shorts. We're cutting the story on his shorts.
Yes, you are
I'm the
welcome.
only one that wears shorts here.
Yes, you are welcome. No, we have other meetings. You are welcome, and I appreciate because no one has come up with this idea of yours or this idea of
But I
ours.
also have a program, a Humanist program, that includes mental health and other things, such as defining the concept of sustainability properly.
It's okay. We have also.
Okay, then we should make it better by getting
yes.
the best parts
Me,
together.
what I want to appreciate to you is let us work together. Leave alone about the visa or whatever. We
Yeah,
work
but I
together.
need to be a good role model. I need to role model
Exactly.
not breaking the laws. But we can change the law, or we can study the law not to break it and apply solutions.
That is not our priority. Our priority is, what I mean, the integration of the software is what is going to solve all the problems.
And for me, at my level, is I need to train people that will train others.
My dear, bring that. Because you are talking too much what we have. So I want to show you.
Yeah, but I'll also email you my Humanist program.
Yes.
See what it is.
Let me show you.
And I want to videotape my lessons, and I want people to give permission to do that. Because it's a great way for me to learn and to pass it on to the world. Because for me, one thing that's very important, guys, is I'm not a greedy person in pursuit of money. I just want to have the means to achieve what I can. That means healthy food to eat, a roof to have a good night's sleep, and transportation, maybe a motorcycle. That's not a lot to ask, because more people here have motorcycles, and I don't even own a mosquito net. So I'm not asking for a lot, and I can't charge to teach my Humanist program, because that makes me a hypocrite. Because for me, I am a social creature. I need to interact with humans. If I can't find any with the software, I want to teach it to them for free. And if I charge them, then it means there's something wrong with me up here, and I'm a hypocrite. I shouldn't be teaching anything if I'm trying to make a profit. Because I'm trying to create a healthy, strong community to belong to, so I have good interactions. These are my social needs that have not been met since pretty much I was born.
You see, when you give people the good ideas in their brain, these people will develop. That's sustainability of what they are going to do. And the more these people are developing, even you, yes, you are saying that you are not working for profit, yes. But it will also help you, because you will feel it. People are succeeding. The more they succeed, the more also you succeed. It is them who will make you to succeed.
Now,
a good leader set a good example for others to follow.
Yeah, but succeed doesn't look the same for me that it does for you, and we'd have to define that before we agree or disagree.
Here,
Summary
the summary
goals.
of the goals and objectives.
5 major objectives are set forth. Provision of mental health software in Uganda. You use the word software.
Yeah.
But you should say cognitive software, so people know it's not what? It's a program in my computer?
That's one that will give us a point of explaining.
And East Africa at large.
Yes.
Creation of mental health networks, provision of mental health awareness and advocacy in Uganda, provision of mental health data to the stakeholders, provision of software, mental health intervention and prevention services.
Now
wait, I have one more sentence. Although the targets of this...
No, let me go to the target group.
Okay. Now this is a proposal you've written to tell people that make decisions, right? That this is what we'd like to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we want the government themselves to...
And one thing that is important, like for example, I had a guy that is head of a satellite office of a bigger university here who says that he had to work really hard to get portable devices like notebooks for the local students to catch up to the modern times. But I said, when you fight with your committee at the university to get these to the local students, is one of the arguments you have to make is not that they need to catch up on a different paradigm that is also flawed, is to understand the balance that the students here already know how to find a book in the library when people in Canada might not even bother or know how to do it. They're stuck to this addictive little machine and they don't even know how to do proper research on it. I have to teach them when I tutor research skills that they should already have at a university level. So what's important is the balance of different types of intelligence and skill sets. That's what makes us human. That's what makes every part of our brain work better together and be more efficient. So, for example, there's one thing that you were saying that's related to this, and we can't oh yeah, this is it. We can't say that, for example, East Africa lacks more in mental health than other countries. We can say that if you do this, you will catch up and be the role models of other countries. Because France, China, Canada, United States, they are nowhere near being close to being ahead than you are. And when I study cultures, I can tell, for example, that in Canada they have more organizations and infrastructure, but I've studied the Canadian Mental Health Association and they are useless. Useless. I wouldn't even volunteer for them. Now they're big, but they're no ahead of you when it comes to human software. Now you guys, for example, here have an advantage. You have a friendliness that comes naturally. That's the great beginning of the social interactions. But you don't have the, let's say, communication skills or listening skills to make this go beyond to suddenly creating a healthy, resilient community that can survive even an asteroid crashing something independent of what a human would cause, right?
Sustainability.
Yeah, well, if we define that the same way, we'll have to do that. So this is important. We have to not worry about where others are. We have to just say, we're born social creatures. This is our responsibility. Even if we have a creator or evolution, we are social creatures. Our responsibility is to do this, and we never have since our origins. And we have to find out why, and then say we're not going to do this intellectual laziness anymore. We're not going to do the human chauvinism that often comes from religion, or the tribe versus tribe mentality that is made worse by the monetary paradigm. These are three big conflicts to healing the human race.
Now, the people will train. Don't mind about the budget. I said international community agency. That's one. Two, the health institution and the responsible ministry for the 4-region Uganda.
Now you're
Those
talking
are
about 4 regions of the northern part?
No, 4-region we say the central Kampala,
Okay.
northern Uganda,
Okay.
Gulu, and
But a good
medium-
place to start that's not too big would be northern Uganda, which has, I think, 4 main towns or cities, I think, 4 or 5. right?
Uganda.
The northern Uganda part. Let's say we focus more,
Yes.
like on a pilot project, it would be probably more the north, right?
It's okay. And then we said we have to train this software to media.
The media?
Media people,
Like you mean like newspapers,
newspaper,
radio?
radios,
Of
because
course,
it's
of
supposed
course.
now to be
Because of the concept of memetics.
exactly.
How we pass on behaviors, ideas
Yes.
from person to person. That is part of my program. Yeah, you need to explain this so we
Yes.
take ownership.
Let me show you.
Role modeling.
Members of parliament, they are the lawmakers. To sign, they say it's supposed to be integrated. We go down. We say local leaders of all regions in the country.
Now, is this the order of your plan? How to start to have more success by starting at these levels and
No,
then
I-
working your way down?
Here, it was a kind of the
It's kind of
1-year activities
Okay,
plan.
okay.
Yes. Then we come down, we say non-governmental organization and other institution in the different
Regions of the country.
Now, that's a lot to do if we're only 3. I don't know how
No,
other people...
no. This is an organization. We are not only 3.
So what is this organization called, and what is its roots?
Okay.
Are you? If you want me to turn this off at any point, let me know. If you have information you would prefer
Yes.
to keep private for a while.
This is
Generations in Action.
in action.
And that's the map of the ones involved so far.
This is the map of East
Now,
Africa.
is it they're involved because there's psychologists or mental health professionals in these countries that are on board with this, or there's actually politicians who actually are already supporting this? Or
Wait,
funders?
we'll come there.
Okay.
So we are working in 6 countries.
Oh, I like this. No health without mental health.
No health without mental health. East Africa Trauma Healers. This is the name of the organization.
Now, is your program secular, or you incorporate religion into it?
There is a part of religion.
Okay, what's the part?
The part of religion is this software supposed to also to be integrated in we have to train even
Okay, but
religious
you don't
leaders.
include the supernatural as part of your mental health program. You don't assume there is such a thing as like say the Christian God creator as part of your mental health program. For example, AA and NA, you know those programs?
Yes.
Now they incorporate God in there. Now they've had a lot of success, but it's not because of the God part. It's because of the psychology behind the program, such as the group setting, the sharing of the stories, the actual brain chemistry to go to a meeting for the first 90 days because the time it takes to get rid of the initial cravings of the addiction. This is psychology that's making it work, but it is a religious program. Now
Yes.
there are compatible programs that are secular that use the same, but also even better ongoing psychological research.
We are targeting. There are 3 caregivers. I'm talking about there is a disorder called reactive attachment disorder for children.
I didn't hear some of the words you said.
Reactive attachment disorder.
Okay, disorder is the word you were saying.
Yes, for children. Which, how you see people behaving when they grow up, that was the cause, some of them. And then, it is a lack of parental care.
Oh, I see a lot of kids raising kids in Kabedopong where I live.
Exactly. The lack of parental care, it makes people behave how they are behaving now, and they increase these disorders when they are big. They normally say depression, suicide. Those are outcome of the attachment.
Whether somebody's compiled the data or is seen or not, suicides are increasing in every country of the world, and it will continue. It will continue.
Exactly. Now we are looking at the school. We have a curriculum for the school to be the second caregivers. The last one is the religious.
The what?
The churches.
Okay.
Many traumatized people, they go to church thinking God is going out. But the pastors or the preachers, they don't understand why people are harming. So they just treat them the same, talking about heaven.
Sometimes it's their advice is disassociating them from either life on earth by, something else, or saying that, for example, your suffering has a reason, or they could be saying it's not so bad, and so it's a way to be in denial. Right?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
and that's the best tools that they have, really.
Yes.
So for somebody to say they're a pastor or a priest and a counselor, well, for me these are incompatible ideas. And that's why I'm asking you can't include the supernatural. You can teach leaders of the supernatural more about human psychology, but to actually be incorporating it as a long-term strategy, it should be just an alternative strategy for those who can't let go of that at the beginning of their healing process, such as an addict that needs a combination of medicine and psychotherapy for the best result. Now, at some point, the medicine might last longer than somebody else, or the therapy, if it's a good match with a therapist, might be more beneficial and get off the medicine quicker, right? So these things, examples are the church. You don't want to separate somebody from the church.
Yes.
In Canada, a lot of the trauma from First Nations communities is kids were taken away from their communities and their culture and inserted into, Christian or Catholic schools and indoctrinated. So that's a form of domestication, and it was never a school. And in fact, what's going on in the world today is I haven't set foot in a school, even though the science is school or university, in years. It's all domestication centers. And I can define what domestication center is, and they could argue with me, and then I could go back there and prove it to them. So domestication centers makes us lose the higher functions of our brain and devolves us as humans, which again will create more mental illness based on my theory called HSD, Homo sapien domestication.
Yes.
When the human animal suddenly got to domesticating the human animal and gave up concepts such as collective learning that is at the origins of this complex hardware, then we've started devolving ourselves. I already observe other species so much smarter than we are.
Each institution we have a syllabus. Like the churches, we were begging them to open a department of therapies, because they have many people who are traumatized. They are not going to be helped by preachers in the common, because we have different problems.
Good intentions is not enough, right? You need the right training and the right understanding of the human brain.
Exactly. Because I'm preparing the document to teach or to train the church leaders. The church leaders to understand why do we want a department of psychotherapy in the church is because many people, they rush there thinking they are going to get.
They're service providers.
Yes.
That's not going to change
Yes.
anytime soon.
The school.
They have the infrastructure. It's their responsibility
Yes. The schools.
to adapt it.
The schools we want also, the schools to adopt that department. We retrain people who will be social workers. When the case is more than their knowledge, they can refer. We want also all institutions, that's why I said all institutions. Uniform forces. Here they don't have, Europe they have. Here they don't have a department who can deal with them.
You're talking about security guards?
Yeah.
Yes,
Security.
uniform forces.
They need problem-solving skills.
They need it. Their family need it. But it's not there.
If somebody comes to where they work and they have a mental health emergency, because I took a course that was not too bad. It was at the beginning of its program, and it was a mental health first aid course.
Yes,
it's
first
to deal
aid.
with somebody who has an emergency situation. Now, if you're a security guard with a gun and you don't have training, eventually you might start being friendly, but if the person acts in ways that you can't predict, you freak out, you eventually shoot them
Yes.
because you don't have the skills, right?
Even the police out there arresting people. You might arrest somebody who is mentally sick, thinking he has violated the Constitution.
I pulled over an RCMP officer in Canada once for not doing his job, and I was upset, but he had good social worker skills. And I said, you talked me down. I was really pissed off, but I'm not going to follow up with a complaint because you have good social worker skills. Now, he was an exception. They don't all.
Yes, we want to train these people who are dealing with human being around. So that is our program. I will share the emails, and we see what we can do. We are trying in 6 countries. It's a kind of an association, but it's not an association. It's an organization. We pick those people who can understand, who has the psychology basics, so that we can work together. So in each country, we are trying to let the government to understand and then to put in their program.
How do you do that? Do you try to get, let's say, a workshop going where a lot of important leaders would come in a setting where you could explain the situation and how they can help? And it starts with them admitting that this is really the priority.
What we are planning, after the research we have done, we are planning to have East Africa Trauma Healing Marathon, which we are going to invite all the presidents of these countries.
East Africa community.
And make it public so that if they don't come, their people have to say, we have mental illness here. Why didn't you go to this
Exactly.
thing?
That is why we included even in the media to shout.
In Asia, it's interesting. Like in Vietnam, if somebody gets caught doing something, they're showing them on the news, and they're not blocking their faces. And that's accountability. And you don't need to put them in jail for 20 years, but I tell you, they'll be shamed for a long time, and that'll scare the hell out of people to do this.
The advocacy, why are we saying trauma healing marathon? People, they want a big event so that they will sit and understand it. You cannot call a president from a country and say, come in.
Okay, well, if you succeed in this, I'm going to be one of the guest speakers and prepare something awesome that nobody else will be talking about.
You will. So, that is the breakthrough of our services. It will be the opening day. They will open those presidents.
But what will happen after that is if you grow too quick without the right professionals and the right template for these professionals to follow that might have different worldviews. For example, if you recruit North Americans who are stuck with the DSM-5, which is barely moving forwards with the time, more backwards with the times, it's again like I'm studying immigration when it comes to foreigners teaching in other countries. And in every country I've studied, they have caused more harm to what was already bad, the foreigners that are there.
Exactly.
So it'll be the same thing with mental health professionals. It'll have to be, things are different now. We have to look at mental health in a very different way.
Now you have come, we sit down, you help us. We have drawn how we can work with the professionals. But in Uganda, clinical psychologists, they are only 12. They are not working in the country.
There are 12?
Only the 12.
That have been trained here or that are locals
outside.
from here and they work outside?
Yes. So, what we are talking, we don't have people.
What about psychiatry? Do you train in the university here and do they stay here? Psychiatry?
No, they are here. Some. Okay. Some they are here. But us, we differ with them. Our service.
And that's okay. Because if they're trained in a more Western way, it's not necessarily the best.
Here, they normally deal with those people who are traumatized. What they do, if you are depressed or you have stress, they will just call you. They give you antidepressant, the tabs,
Unfortunately,
Yes.
unfortunately, psychiatrists should probably not be the first person to see.
Exactly.
They should be after somebody has the people skills.
And then you do the
they say,
referral.
okay, we've done a lot of psychotherapy. We believe that you're at a stage where the medicine would help, because psychiatrists will prescribe
Exactly.
and then they'll try, and then you're a guinea pig, and then they just love getting new commissions and new trips to go on for conferences. But the thing is they actually spend so little time that they don't even know they're often making the wrong assessment and diagnosis. And you should not question them by
No, that is a lack
reevaluating.
of-
Not even in 5 years should you reevaluate.
that is a lack of personnel.
It-
That is what they are doing. That is the best they can do.
You mean there's not enough people?
No.
That's a personality trait they have. That is a bad thinking tool, right? Because attitude is a lot more important than knowledge. Okay, I've had students in my grad school with learning disabilities, attention disabilities, but awesome attitude, who maybe with more work surpassed the average student with their attitude. Now, psychiatrists, once I was going to go volunteer in India, and one of the programs they had is personality retraining. I said, you're the first one to use that term. I've never heard this. And I don't know if they do it well or they understand what I mean by it. But this is important for psychiatrists too. And if they don't want to even participate with their peers in a session where they would be evaluating each other and challenging each other to be better in a personality way, then why are they not just going to maybe flip burgers at McDonald's? They'd be better off.
Psychiatrists, I call them troubleshooters. The troubleshooters means when there's no trouble, they don't work. When there are nobody who is going to the hospital, they don't work. But us is totally different.
What do you
As-
call yourselves
Eh?
in the same theme as troubleshooters? You would be what?
You recall me the name. What I mean here is, as we want to prevent prevention methods, but the psychiatrists, they do intervention. As we want to do prevention, that is the difference now between.
Prevention and education.
Yeah. Of course,
Because
the
they're not
prevention.
the same, but it has to be both.
Yes, prevention is education, in fact.
And when
It's
you
training.
talk about the health of the brain, you're talking about stress management, sleeping patterns, nutritious foods.
Exactly.
You're talking about long-term planning, things that give a sense of security, and of course belonging to healthier and healthier communities. So it's not just about the chemistry or the interaction with someone's spouse or kids. It's a greater picture of
Let
even
me-
making choices of how to feed this properly.
Let me give you an example of what we have seen in Africa. They are just following. When the new couple, people who are getting married, they love each other at that moment, and for some years they call sweetie these romantic names, and later they start changing, and no one can intervene to counsel them, telling them in the long run of your life things we can turn around. If your husband has money now, maybe the money next 10 years maybe it will not be there. How are you going to face it? Or if you married this woman, you want 5 children and she's not giving it even one, how are you going to manage it? So that is the prevention we are talking about.
Relationship skills is something I would have liked to do, and I would have put an ad in the paper. We need couples be ready to role play, to be in front of the class and practice the skills.
Exactly.
Now, if there's relationships of need, they need each other, it's not a healthy relationship.
Is not.
It has to be a want. I want to be with you, I don't need to be with you.
Yes.
The other thing I want to say about this is you talked about maybe the kind of words of love. Now, there's 2 kinds of love that happen at the beginning of a relationship that are genetically induced. Okay, falling in love, lust, infatuation.
Yes.
It's to make a baby. And then there's a different kind of love that lasts about 2 years for the most vulnerable stage of this infant, to keep the couple together. Now, after that, many separate, or some don't even get to the second part. The men get scared and goes away. But the long-term kind of love, the life partnership that makes old couples stay together forever,
Yes.
now that's something that needs to be taught, because it's something that is more memetics, not genetics. And now that doesn't mean that we're a slave to our genetics. We can learn about that and control and understand when it's happening to us, such as women saying, oh, I'm feeling my biological clock, I have to have a kid, and then they know they're not in a situation to have a kid. Well, right away they're a bad parent before they even conceive their kid. They're making bad parenting decisions. They need to understand that parenting comes even before you make the baby.
Exactly.
So,
But
and it lasts at least 25 years for the maturity of the
that
human
is the
brain to be
software we are
achieved.
talking about. It's not there. That service is not there.
Now, can you imagine the shock of people admitting this as a species? That as a species, we're not even having balanced chemical human brains at this stage, and we've been around for thousands of years, and you have a country like China saying we have this great 5,000-year civilization, when they've never achieved a proto-civilization that's stable. We have to really look at ourselves in an objective way, otherwise none of this will work. And that means that we, all of us, have to say what our past is, what we believe is the work we still have to do. Because your plan sounds great, but if you think you will even make 10% progress in your lifetime, then you're not being realistic. You must know that you'll be just one of the pioneers. It'll take generations for this.
Of course. In fact, people who will benefit are not my generation.
People that have been what?
Who will benefit?
Oh, benefit.
Yes.
That's a good way to say it.
Yes.
And you know, that's the root that is the most important of the word sustainability, is we must think of future generations. If we're thinking short term, even our own lifespan, we're almost like politicians who are thinking long term, and they're just part of the problem. Is really long term, and I've been writing about this. Is it's been more than 50 years since the last human baby was born, and I mean a human infant that has the potential to belong to a community that will allow them to grow in this healthy community of other humans with the right software and teach it to them in the right way, in the right order about the right things, where most of the community has already achieved this. It's been at least 50 years since that was a possibility somewhere around the world. So try to catch up to this. It'll take more than 2 generations to catch up.
Yes, but we are supposed to do our part.
Otherwise,
it will start.
otherwise
then.
we're a waste of space. We
Yes,
should just be
so-
fertilizer for food to grow for other species.
Me and my friends, we have been working in different organizations, but we have been trying as individuals, what can we do to help our community to use our brain? I normally tell people we have educated people and the learned people. They are totally different. A learned person is somebody who can implement what he has learned from school or from life. But an educated person is somebody who is having a badge of document or professionals but is doing nothing. So we don't want to be...
Okay, that's 2 ways, but you should add a lifelong learner, because that's what human brains are meant for.
Yes.
Now that's very different than those two in much more beneficial ways. So you must add that definition, and I can help you write it down if it's already in there. Because even learn it is not enough.
No.
You need a lifelong learner, and you need somebody to say it and to role model it every day.
So, in short, how do you want us to do it before we tell you?
In shorts, no long pants. I don't want to wear this. Oh my God, it makes me. Oh my God. For me, most people I meet wearing clothes like this are part of the problem. It's hard to take somebody seriously with clothes like this.
That is mindset.
I know, but you have to mention that. You have to mention I'm wearing this today. But I noticed in my life that people wearing clothes like this have been more part of the problem. And then you can even take it off at the beginning, and people will listen to you even more.
So, when you are meeting a pastor, you must mention the verses. In the
verses?
Bible. In the Bible.
You must mention.
Yes, you to understand. The person need to understand you, the pastor.
What do you mean? Like yesterday, I went to introduce myself to Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Church in Cabedopon, okay?
Yeah.
And I introduce myself and I say, I'm an independent scientist. I'm not a religious person. Do you want to meet me? Can I teach you some of the things I know? Now, I don't need to quote anything in the Bible to be who I am. I just say who I am right away. And I'm confident with my intelligence, and I'm confident that they can ask me any questions they want about anything, and I'll know how to answer. Now, that's a confidence that they should admire, but they don't.
Yes.
They don't for long.
Listen, as we are African, and we know the mindset of Africa, and we are meeting different caliber of people. The moment we are having an appointment with a politician, we go in a way of talking politics so that he will understand us. We are using something we call brainwash strategy.
Well, you don't have to say that word. You
No,
can
no.
just say speak in their language.
No. Or
But
brain
you have to
manipulation.
challenge the language because most countries of the world are becoming less efficient at using their own language. So language is definitely something we have to talk about. It's not going well up here anywhere.
Get me right, and then you judge me, or you correct me, or you comment. Are you getting?
I think you're gonna. Go ahead.
Yes, the politician to welcome you, to admit if this software can be implemented or can be included. You are supposed to go there when you are talking their language first, so that they said, yeah, we can talk. Later, now you want him now to understand you.
But do you want to be manipulative about this? Because what I would do is I'm going to say what I'm doing, and that's what you need to teach them in psychology. Is I'm here, first meeting, I'm going to be talking more your language, and I'm going to say why. I'm going to even define what
that is your tricks. You don't tell them.
No, that's not tricks. Not telling them is the trick, and it's not going to make progress as quickly. Or if it doesn't create progress at all, then maybe progress is never going to be achieved. Because I believe it's too late to actually fix things, but I'm willing to try.
I told you, Africans, you must stay here and then you understand them.
But Africans have the same kind of brains that anybody else has. And their culture has programmed them in productive ways and counterproductive ways. And bringing the light to them about this.
I have been in Europe 25 years. I know European how you think. And I know African how they think. And the moment you want to change my behavior, my bad behavior, to be the good behavior, I think you have met fishermen. Fishermen, they have a trick to fish, and they get what they want. That is what I want to use. I want to use what they want me to get what I want.
Yeah, but they don't have good intentions for that fish.
Yeah.
They're not trying to teach the fish to not be caught anymore.
No. They have intention to achieve what they want. Exactly. Me, what I want is to teach people. Are you getting?
And to understand you.
Yeah, but I would not resort to trickery, and I would even explain why. I would even say, hey, I've been honest with you and it's not working. Should I now resort to trickery and it looks like this? I would explain this psychology.
You use the psychology dynamics. Psychology dynamics is...
So what you want to do is why the science of psychology has barely evolved. It's been militarized. It's been used by the elite to control the masses. And that's what you want to do because you believe at the beginning it's a good way to start. I don't agree with that part. Now you could do it, but when I come, I would have a workshop and a public speaker of this is reality in your face. I'm the bad cop, and because I've had to retire the doctor of humanics. Because
you don't understand why I said, let me talk and then you tell me. You are coming to talk to institution. But me in the ground, I'm talking to individuals. You get it? Institution, you don't have to manipulate. Are you getting my point? But individual to come to institution, I'm supposed now to do what we call community mobilization.
Like, you mean to get people to come
the community
here?
Mobilization. Remember, even when Jesus was coming, he was dealing with people according how they are. If I'm coming to you, I'm wearing a shirt, I'm meeting you, it's not a problem because that you understand. But you to go to a minister office like this, you are violating their mindset. But
you know that's a flaw of theirs, right?
Yes.
But you accommodate this flaw to pass on the message.
You wear how you put on how they want first to see you, and then you tell them what you want. It will not cost you. You remove later, and then you do what you want. If you want to train a child, you first give a sweet, and then the child will come near you, and then you will talk to. But you say, this is bad. You want to behave like these military people. this is bad. Yes, it's bad, but the way, the approach matters to different people. The way I'm talking to you is not the way I would talk to him. I'm supposed to understand.
Well, working with kids, and I worked a lot with kids 3 to 5 year olds, and I find that at that age they know the difference between right and wrong a lot more than adults, and it's easier to make them understand the temptation to have acted in a bad way and how to reframe it, and the progress is much quicker. Now with older people it's harder, and it's harder for them to even see what is wrong because they think that's the norm, that's the way things
You
are.
come here, you move with the people, you will know them, the mindset you have.
Yeah,
in
but
your
I don't
life.
even have money to buy a suit or have my own motorcycle. I'm living in Kabedapong. I'm living in a very poor, and I
That's-
walk as much as
That
possible
is
because
your-
I don't have money.
That is your problem.
So I know the people,
So the money will come when you want to help.
but I don't want the money.
If you don't want money, you don't want work.
Work?
Yes. How can you achieve
Work?
if you don't? Listen.
I want to be productive. I want to be
No,
helpful.
you will never
That's
be
not the same
you
as
will
getting a
not-
paycheck.
The money you are talking, I'm not saying the money you to eat. You need money to travel. You need money to have meetings. You need money
Well,
to meet people.
do I need money if I'm part of a collaborative or community
Oh, my
that
dear.
wants me to travel?
My
Because they will
dear.
take care of that.
You will do less.
Well, in the long term, I'm thinking if I'm not promoting capitalism, I'm thinking I'm going to have a more positive impact
Now,
on
do you
equality.
know the money you don't want to use from the government? They are using it to buy gun. If you can,
I know,
get
but
it.
I'm in a paradigm where I'm trying to teach people to move away, and sustainability means people are more self-reliant as communities.
And now you are supposed to start up, not to start down.
Huh?
You are not supposed to start down in the village. You are supposed to start up. Up is where I said.
But both are good. And maybe you have a strength and I have a strength, and we could work in different parts.
Exactly, that is what I mean. Here we start up. Up means they are supposed to understand the system or the syllabus.
Okay, well, let's say you work with somebody and they agree to give money, but they don't agree to do the work. Then what do you think is going to happen? Money's going to move, it'll be a temporary solution, and then they'll say something silly because they haven't understood their own growth that's never happened.
No,
Then
your
they
mind-
wasted money and you won't get any more.
Your mindset. How long have you been here?
In Uganda?
In Africa.
Okay, well, I've been on this planet for pretty much close to 50 years.
No, not the planet.
Yeah.
Uganda. Huh?
But what's the difference? People are the same everywhere. They
They're
really
not
are.
the same.
Oh, yes, they
My
are.
dear, your understanding and our people understanding is not the same. People are same blood. And God has given us brain in the same way, but the gadgets, the apps we have are not the same. I mean, your computer with my computer are the same, but the apps are not the same. You have to understand that.
What's your point? Because for me, I'm at paradigms where
My point is the way you understand things, the way in Europe they are doing things is not the way here they are doing things. So you are supposed to stay here and then you see how can I approach. I said the approach matters of different calibers. The way you approach me is not the way you are going to approach a man.
well, I don't want to do the approaching part. I want to do the teaching part
The teaching
of people
part.
that are ready to learn. And I want to do
Yes,
public
but-
speaking where people can come ask me anything.
Yes, that is when we have the platform. That is when you will find we have the foundation, and then you come and teach. So you cannot do community mobilization.